Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Good morning and welcome into Life Planning 101. My name is Angela Robinson with Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services out of the thriving metropolis of Eastland, Texas, where we help people live life on purpose and have been doing so since 1989. Quite a long time, quite a long feat. Makes my dad sound really old. Yes, we are a second generation firm. And, it's been such a blessing to serve the families that we've served over this number of years. And many of those relationships still dating back to the 90s. And, one of the things that I think we say that we're different in, and I truly believe, is we try to be very humble through our process and learning what we don't know from the families that we serve to continue to get better for the future families that we serve. And in one of those areas, I think we do that the best is estate planning. And with estate planning, there is such a level of complexity that surrounds that a lot of people just get paralyzed by it, completely paralyzed. And if you don't believe me, you could just take a look at some statistics. So I just started to kind of look up some things and found there was a great deal on a Plain Giving marketing trusted authority site, which I actually love the Plain Giving sites because they talk a lot about estate planning. Of course, their efforts are to help you incorporate your causes and your churches into your estate plan, which is, if it's important to you, that's something that we assist with as well. But some really good statistics came out of this, and one of which was that 68% of Americans don't have a valid will. Think about that. 68%, 2% more, we have a passing grade. That's not good. It's just really, really not good. And you wonder why. Well, there's another statistic that kind of explains it. 63% of those people making $80,000 or more per year say that procrastination is that reason. It's the reason that they have not done any estate planning. Procrastination. Think about that. I mean, it reminds me of the old saying that if good things come to those who wait, isn't procrastination a virtue? I don't think it is in this case. I don't think that's it at all. Especially because Americans agree, 52% of them over age 55 agree that it would be irresponsible to actually die without a will, die without an estate plan. Think about that. Think about that. Here we are, a nation that doesn't have a will, yet we say it's irresponsible. Why is that? Well, I think it's because exactly what the statistics say, there's procrastination. And why is there procrastination? You're procrastination because you're paralyzed. Why are you paralyzed? Because the complexity. Some people I really think are intimidated just by the process itself. Think it's going to take too long, too much time out of their lives. Don't even know where to start, maybe. Some people I think are intimidated by visiting with an attorney. I know them. I've met with them. I've worked with them. They're intimidated by visiting with an attorney, and they're definitely intimidated by that clock ticking while they're there. So they feel like they have to have everything in order before they ever go to the attorney to make sure that they aren't just wasting their dollars. And that's really difficult when you don't even know what you don't know and you don't even know how to get done what you want to get done. Well, that's where we've come into play and built our legacy planning process. But I digress. Most people don't understand legalese. So here they get these documents, and half the time, have you read your will? No, I haven't. I wouldn't understand it if I did. Think of that. Really, really, really think of that. There's a lot to that. And then there's just the complexity of not knowing, right? Maybe you don't know how to equalize things or accomplish what you want. Maybe you're struggling with just what you want in general. I don't think it matters the reason. It's just the fact that at the end of the day, procrastination is winning the average here. So our job today is to help you get unstuck. There is a key in all this though, and I hate to say this, but the key is you, okay? You need to help me out. If I give you a tool, you have to promise to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, the tool won't help. It works that simply, okay? And I mean it. It's that simple. You know the old saying, keep it simple, stupid? Well, that's where we're going with this. You know, I heard this tool years ago from, and believe it or not, it's from an estate tax attorney that is one of the most renowned in the nation. I know he works on some of the biggest estate plans in the nation. And when the IRS doesn't know what they're doing or what something actually means, he's the guy that they call. Okay. And he was the one I heard this tool from. So here we go. And here's what I want you to remember. Okay. I want you to remember W.W.W.T.C, not W.W.J.D. What would Jesus do? No, W.W.W.T.C. Okay. Now here's your job. Here's your job. Don't overthink this. I want you to just answer with whatever comes to your mind. You heard that. Just answer with whatever comes to your mind. Doesn't mean it's good, bad, ugly. There are no right or wrong answers. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. You need to jot down all your thoughts. Your thoughts are what is going to design this. If you don't put them down, then you haven't formalized anything. Okay. And if you have multiple answers, that's okay too. Write those down. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Keep it very, very, very simple. So are you ready for this? So you're going to need a piece of paper, maybe two. A yellow pad's great. I always like a legal pad. And you're going to need plenty of space. And you're going to need a pen, pencil, whatever you like to write with. It doesn't matter. But the goal is just be ready to write. And I would suggest that you can listen to this now and you can come back to this later. We also have our coined article this week that is in line with this. So it's in the written words. So if you really want to just take something and focus on it, you can do that. And that's going to be coming out in our weekly life lessons this week. So if you're not signed up for that, go sign up for that. www.kennedy-financial.com. Sign up for our weekly life lessons so that you're getting these. You're also getting black and white market chatter. You're also getting updates of things that are happening in the industry. You're also getting, access to the podcast, which you obviously have. And then the article that usually coincides with this, but it gives you some food for thought so you can actually spend some time digging into your own life plan and working on it, just like we're doing here today. So I digress again. I'm doing that a lot today. Let's get back to this. W.W.W.T.C. Here's your rules. Keep it simple. Just write down the answers. Now I'm going to ask you this question in full, and then we're going to break it down. So don't feel like you have to answer this question in full just up front, but I want you to know where we're going. I'm a big believer of begin with the end in mind. And here's the simplicity of your estate plan. It can really be wrapped up in one question. Who gets what? When? Under what terms and conditions? I'm going to repeat that again. Who gets what? When? Under what terms and conditions? That's all you need to answer. If you've got that, then you're ready to really get the ball rolling and actually get something on paper. So you may say there, oh, that's where I'm stuck. That's the problem altogether. Well, that's what we're going to work through. Again, don't overthink this. Don't go on, how is this going to happen? Or how could I get that done? Or, there's so much complexity. I just can't even see to the bottom of this. It doesn't matter. We'll help you get through that. I'm not worried about that. But you have to answer this. You have to answer this no matter what. You have to answer this with the complexity. It doesn't matter. So you might as well just start with the basics. And the first is who. Who do you want to include in your estate? Now, this is where I say you want to have a decent amount of space to write, because I want you to leave spaces between each person enough that you can answer the rest of this question for each person. Who gets what, when, under what terms and conditions? So who do you want to include in your estate? This might be your kids. It might not be your kids. It might be your grandkids. After all, you like them better. Might be other family members, or even a cause or a church that is near and dear to your heart. It could be all the above. You could say, I really want to give to my church or my cause, but I don't know how I would do that and not disinherit my kids. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Write it down. If it's something that's important to you, write it down. You may start thinking about, well, I don't know how to equalize this or this. That doesn't matter. Write the people down. Write everyone down. Even if you don't know what, just put a big question mark by their name. So I suggest, again, leaving space between each person or cause that you write. So once you got who, we're going to go to what. What do you want each of these to get? Don't worry about equalizing things just yet. I want you to actually look at that person named on your list or that cause. What do you want to leave behind for them? What's important? Maybe just a ring. Maybe just a love letter and it has nothing to do with money. Maybe it's something else you want to transfer. Tax, salary, your horse. Maybe it's your money. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What do you want to leave them? And be specific with this. This is where it's important and you're going to need to take some time. Just write your wishes at this point. Don't overcomplicate it. All right. So at this point, you have the who, you have the what. When? When do you want them to have access to the what? And I say have access because you may never want them to actually get it. This is where people start getting tripped up because they start thinking about, ooh, that son-in-law I really don't like, or if they get that money, they're just going to spend it on this and that's not where I want it to go or how I want it to be there. I realize that those fears are starting to creep up, okay? And they're going to start to trip you up. It's natural. It's going to happen. So I want you to write that down. I want you to write down why you don't know. Or if you do know, but here's the caveats to that, why you wouldn't want them to get it outright or have access to it. There's a difference. Do you see that? That there's a difference between having access to and actually getting it outright. Maybe you're scared of divorces, them dying, it going to a remarriage, whatever that is that has your fears. Your fears are actually your friend when it comes to outlining your wishes. So don't shove them under the rug. It's very important that you think through this. A lot of people don't want to go to an attorney because they know they have to, that just hit me. That's exactly it. They have to go in there and they know they're going to have to go through these conversations. They do really want to just get over with and they don't want to think about it and they just want to shove it under the rug. And by the way, they're paying this person by the hour and I don't want to pay them by the per hour. And it's just, I'm not going to do it. No, well, that's very, very wrong way to be thinking about all this. So here's your moment, okay? Truth. There's only one truth. Yes, there's always grace that follows truth, but you need to write the truth. You need to know what's in your mind, what's in your heart, put it on a piece of paper, because this is where you're going to start to really gain traction. And if you don't do this the right way, you're not going to gain traction. Sorry. So, we've covered the who, we've covered the what, we've covered the when. Now, what terms and conditions should be in place for all of this? For each person, break it down. So my dad, if he were sitting here, he would love to say right in front of us, all of our children are dysfunctional. Yes, it's just a matter of how badly, in what way. And I bet you are chuckling. And I bet that does ring a bit true because it is true. We are all dysfunctional in one way or another. We all have kids that are dysfunctional in one way or another. And we worry about our kids, right? Maybe they struggle with their finances or maybe there's a substance abuse, heaven forbid. Maybe they're in a bad marriage or a blended family or simply don't live in a manner that you agree with. Maybe there's something else. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's a combination of your kids and how they interact together. Maybe they don't get along. Maybe they do get along. Maybe you're worried about family relations after you're gone and fair being equal and equal being fair, and that's not the same thing. Maybe there's a huge conundrum in your mind. So here is where I'm going to remind you of your rules. Keep it simple. And remember, your fears are your friend here. If you don't know what terms and conditions, write the concerns. They're too young. I don't know this yet. I'm worried about this. I don't want the money to go here. I don't want it to be used for this. Da 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 da. This part will get you where you need to be if you will just do the work. So the interesting thing is, I bet if you actually put it together and you started to look at this and started to work through this, you probably have most of this whipped out in a night or two, an evening, an hour or two. You relook at it a few times. By the end of the week, you're ready to do something with it. Yeah. If you'll sincerely walk through this tool, I will promise you one thing, and I can't guarantee much in our industry, but you're going to gain clarity. Even more so, when we start to look at it with you, we'll gain clarity to help you unravel the complexity of what comes next. And that is the how. That is knowing what next steps need to take place to make sure that this is efficient, effective, and that legalese is actually doing what you want it to be doing. So, the reality behind this is that too many people leave a mess, family conflicts, and quite possibly the unthinkable, which we don't want to think about. And why? Well, my bet is that it's probably for the same reasons that you do. So I want to tell you a story, and that's procrastination, by the way. So I'm going to tell you a story of Sister Mary, okay? So Sister Mary, she's truly a religious woman. And besides her duties as a nun, she was also very active in various hospitals. She visits the sick, helps take care of their patients and their needs. And so it's no surprise one day she ran out of gas, and the only container she could find to fill up her gas was a bedpan. So she had to go to the gas station, right? Fill something up, bring it back to her car. Well, Sister Mary happily walks, 2 blocks down, goes to the gas station with the bedpan, fills it up, and as luck would have it, she started tipping the gas into the fuel tank, and the traffic light turned red, and she had quite a large audience witnessing this whole spectacle. And just when she was finished and pouring in the last few drops, a guy opened up his window and said, "I swear, if that car starts, I'm becoming a religious man." So the point of the story is sometimes the old-fashioned way doesn't work. Just go into an attorney and start in there, because you don't really know how to start. You don't really know what you're getting, and you just continue to be paralyzed. So let's think outside the box. Maybe we need a bedpan to do the job. I don't know. So this is where this tool comes into place. Use it, because your estate plan is about one thing. It's about saying I love you to the people that you leave behind. After all, you're not here. So it's about saying I love you to the people you leave behind. So take the time, use the tool, and let us help you say this in the best way possible. My name is Angela Robinson with Smart Money Group in Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. God bless you. Have a great week, and join us right here next week on Life Planning 101, where we're helping people live life on purpose.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Don't forget to learn how our sister company can assist you with all of your tax and consulting needs. You can find out more at briscoeandassociates.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton & Associates Incorporated.